It's going to be pretty tough for our
Warriors
in red.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game throughout, but it's not impossible. Again, I'm looking at once right now, and I'm thinking, all right, there is avenues where they can really have that impact on the game, especially if they can find ways to make plays happen more on that bot side of the map. I would have liked to see more of an engaged support, though, out of NT still. I know that they can play the Enchantresses and the Mage supports, and they've had success on it so far, but I've almost feared that they've become too one-dimensional in this team comp that we're seeing out of Sengoku. It still isn't showing me that they can play multiple styles, which I was looking for in this matchup. Like, if you want to throw off your opponents, if you want to pull off an upset, you have to throw something at them that they haven't seen before, and it looks like they're not willing to take that risk today. And that, to me, is a sign of concern.
It's not a full transformation. We do see the Caitlyn look something new as we see DFM charged in the lane. They were looking for the counter cheese.
If there were two members of Sengoku's bot lane there.
of DFM. They took advantage of disjointed jungle pathing, and the more I think about it, Temporal, I actually believe DFM went for that play because they weren't spotted. They probably assumed that there were deep wards on their top side of the jungle, so Steel knew he had to mix it up somewhat, and because of that, they get a bit more aggressive. And I guess in the chess match, DFM just kind of had all the answers, even to questions that like Sengoku weren't necessarily looking for, and it's resulted in that early advantage. Now, we're kind of seeing, you know, a bit later in the game, don't want to hone on that too much. Sengoku is starting to come back a fair bit, but still sort of an awkward spot. Up, hello again, goodbye again, back to the dragon we go.
Oh gosh, backwards, forwards, backwards again. Oh, I need to open the right stream because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. So, 20 seconds further in the future from where I was, Yaharong and Jet still going stale in this mid lanes. Jet getting the push in, but as we've seen, it's not transferred into map movements for Sengoku. DFM, on the other hand, have been all over the map. They've dominated the early, even though the CS has equalized in the bottom lane. That was their huge pinch point, and it has been pinched. DFM well and truly enabled.
Yeah, DFM, this is exactly where they want to be. It's exactly where they've been many times before throughout this split. They get these early leads. They just sort of sit tight and slowly bleed and whittle you out, forcing you to be the initiators, forcing you to make plays. But as we saw just before Sengoku, they try to force an issue around Dragon. DFM, they're so aloof. They're so slippery that you can't really find a fight unless DFM wants it. And right now, Steel could be looking at the top side, actually. You got to be careful if you're Paz.
This is risky. Steel doesn't have much mana. This is going to be one or two cooldowns.
Yeah, Paz is not in a good spot. And once again, it's a fight taken on DFM's turn.
Oh,
on the other side. Blocked by the minion! It's not fair. World will come through. No. Flash has to be burned, but here comes Steel, not going to commit through, and that will be... All right, one's taken back, but I mean, one's not good.
Not good at all. Yaharong through sweet footwork, and the minion to save it all, as we'll see the replay come through, gets away with murder once, gets some chip damage. Yaharong already with the Destiny open, does not follow the gate though, as he knows once can pick that up. The minion, the hero minion, knocked up by the Dragon's Rage, saves Yaharong. Jet has to commit the flash, commit the Realm Warp, and while he does take down Yaharong, that is not the advantage Sengoku were looking for.
Not at all, because, I mean, the only good thing for Sengoku is Yaharong doesn't have the Destiny to get back to lane quickly. Woohoo, that's like maybe a wave in your favor, but overall, yeah, not really the plays that we were hoping to see from Sengoku. I liked how they were being proactive, and I don't disagree with trying to force a play like that. And realistically, had that minion not been there, we're looking at a completely different situation, but...
Once had Yaharong dead, but that hero minion really did put on its cape, and it just fired it all the way through.
And it doesn't take away what happened on the top side of the map either, in a situation where Paz got a bit too aggressive, not really respecting where Steel is. And that's twice we've seen Sengoku make that mistake. So credit to Steel right now. Definitely sort of performing where he needs to be on the map. It's going to look to get that Rift Herald as a reward. Jet is going to commit now, I think, since once has gone in onto Abby, but take a look at Yaharong on the backside with the gold card, makes contact with Jet. Steel's going to make his way down, onslaught of shadows, gets to Jet before he gets to the blasting cone, and now it's cut off on the escape by Harp, although with the arrival of the rest of the bot lane, yeah, they don't find Harp, they get the flash, but they lose their jungler in the process, and now Paz wants to get involved, but DFM, they're too knuckled in. No way for Paz to realistically get in the fight, and as this happens, Unipon says, I'll take some free gold, thank you very much.
Sengoku really look broken right now. They knew they had a pretty favorable draft. They had lots of opportunities to play against this DFM side, and it looks like they didn't think DFM would adapt further and try and push this onwards. As we go to the replay once again, we'll see Evie is just able to play so far up here, defending Steel. Yaharong's there. They know it's the 2v2. The bot lane only just stepped off vision. Harp will match and is walking up at the same time. And Steel, Yaharong, and Evie able to do so much with their numbers advantage. Members of Sengoku taken out, taken down, way ahead of time. And even though the bot lane is here, it's too little too late. The numbers advantage is not present.
Yeah, that was just brutal overall right there. DFM very much in control of this game. And I don't understand why Sengoku kind of played that as if Yaharong would not give up that wave just to ensure that he fight. I think they were expecting Yaharong, oh, he'll clear wave, we'll have numbers just long enough for the kill. And Yaharong's like, look, I've already missed a couple waves already because of fighting. What's to stop me from doing that again? I'm Twisted Fate. I'm going to get that gold passive regardless. I'll take these sort of trades if it means putting the team ahead. And I've really liked the decision-making coming from Yaharong thus far.
It goes even further. When you're in an advantage, a significant gold advantage, as we see here, nearly 3,000 on the board, if your opponent just clears the wave in, that wave is not 3,000 gold. The team fight might be 3,000 gold, so you're already ahead. You give them the 100 and take back the 1,000 gold in the next moment. As we're transitioning to the dragon again here. Sengoku tried to get in there in close vision. They will respect Steel's presence. Harp and Udapon gave that one away by moving off the wave. That's fine. This will be something for DFM to pick up. The Dragons a lot later than some games we've seen in the LJL so far. No 24-minute souls here. No 22 minutes. As once an NT checking around.
Throwback to last season where like no one would ever go for that first dragon, I suppose.
It was poisoned.
It was always rough. But I mean, a little bit of a TP advantage actually for Paz right now.
A little bit.
I'm surprised that they're not pushing the issue. I mean, Eddie is not going to the dragons, but instead it is DFM pushing the issue as we see the depth charges come through. Onslaught of Shadows. That's going to be a very dead Enti. I would think the Super Mega Death Rocket used to secure the kill. Now Honey left all on their own. Some lonesome has to burn Flash. Realm Warp coming through. Steel's in trouble. Good block by Harp as we see some zoning coming from Udapon. Gold card at the ready for Yaharong, but gets caught up instead. Now is actually in a lot of trouble, but once does not pull the trigger. DFM does walk away, and we got a little bit of a South American scoreline right now. 7-1 in favor of DFM.
It's brutal. Harp with the lollipop. I laugh, I take the moment, because that hook around Tribush was masterful. Even though NT was behind the wall, Harp gets the lollipop, absolutely takes this Lux to Chinatown, holds it still, just says, hang on a minute, my AD carry has a word for you. And DFM once again taking advantage on the bot side. It's what this Twisted Fate was picked for. As once just spots Yaharong over the wall, decides better of that sneaky dragon attempt, has called Paz into the top lane, but Steel wasn't anywhere near that dragon. DFM are doing so well by just making the bigger play, and then relaxing afterwards. Sengoku, it's almost as if they feel the need to continue forcing, and they just keep getting spotted out by DFM, who then get to make the calculated play off that information. NT, my friend, that's a gold card. That's a dredge line. I'm going to play-by-play for a second, because that was just doomed.
Yeah, there's really not much to say on that one, is there? Unfortunately, once again, kind of being caught out a little bit too far forward. Enti is going to be the one who falls. 3 deaths for Enti, who has historically been one of the safest playing supports thus far, and on a Lux. That would be so unusual, but again, I think you hit the nail on the head. The sort of desperation positioning Dragon Steel. Hello, once.
Let's go.
All right.
There
you go. A consolation prize. You got your clip. Well done. I don't think it's going to turn this game around.
It's pretty rough, but they still managed to get that steal onto the dragon. That's something. We're going to go to the replay. This is extended fight. Enti completely destroyed. That's just not great. That's DFM using their tools. And at least once gets the dragon back. Okay, there's still something here. The Caitlyn won't be as strong as the Jinx later on, but if you break the setup and you break her before the resets come through, before Jinx gets excited, there is hope here for DFM. Caitlyn's still an excellent carry. Jet will go through into the late game as this Rise. If this continues, he will side lane better than Yaharong, will clear the way faster. So there is hope for Sengoku, but it is waning formal.
I mean, you say there's hope, but I'm still looking at this 5k gold differential at 15 minutes in, and I'm feeling like against a lot of teams, that's already a struggle, but against DFM, that should be a death blow. And when you start to look where that gold is kind of being distributed, a lot of it is going to be on Steel. Oh, look at that! They knew! The broadcast knew. The big differential is actually down on that bot side. Udapon over Honey right now, and that's going to be the big difference, because in those team fights, I don't really see how the side of Sengoku gets through sort of DFM and gets to Udapon unless Udapon makes an egregious mistake. and that's going to be so much DPS thrown out, and I don't know, even with the Fed Rise, if Sengoku can overcome that.
So, Sengoku do have a bonus in their composition. Normally, if you, say, have a Nautilus, if you have a Leona, that's a really easy reset for Jinx, where most of her power lies. You can just get your team to pick Nautilus. Once is trying. Surely you're not committing here, my friend. The Realm Warp is in. It's on.
Teleport's coming through as well. Here comes the Destiny. Onslaught of Shadows only gets 2, and that could be Steel going down. But with the Super Mega Death Rocket, now the resets on Unipon. It is Sengoku running to the hills, but Unipon is on a tear, gets another couple kills. Meanwhile, down below, Honey actually does find one, and I don't know if we can see Harp secure that kill. That's because the rest of the damage was on the top side. Unipon especially did walk away. Paz was able to escape. I'm not sure if Harp's going to be the same. Ace in the Hole does not have the damage. It was sloppy there and not as clean as I expected for DFM.
The overextension here, we'll see it come through. Starts up once, should surely just be looking to warden away here. I don't think DFM, like me, even believe it. And then the Realm Warp comes through. This overextension of the Onslaught of Shadows back in from Steel is strictly too much. And even though the members of Sengoku do end up falling, it gives Honey a long, long time able to take back Yaharong, able to take back Steel. And that's quite okay. That's alright for Sengoku. It's not completely a lost fight. That would have been close. Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been good. Oh, Formal, I don't know if you've seen, there is a message in Caster Chat, which will get your audio back on, as finally, I could hear myself on stream. Let's go! Audio! Hello, Twitch chat. How are you doing this fine morning? We're taking a mild lull state. Sengoku have got into position on this Rift Herald. And, oh, even though the Jinx Rocket was tried, even though Twisted Fate's on the lower side, Sengoku has 6,000 gold down, but it's not over just yet. We could see further extensions. It's going to be harder as this Hecarim gets tankier and tankier, as Unipon gets stronger and stronger. But right now, DFM not pushing their advantage forwards. Oh, I say that, and it's a solo bolo for Unipon. Harp and Steel didn't come round on the outside, but lordy lord, that Gale Force was perfectly timed.
Yeah, that was, again, a little bit of that gold differential, a little bit of that Unipon pop, and that's the difference in this game right now. And not to sound like a broken record, but because no one ever even heard us when we started the record, it all goes back to that early pathing from Steel, getting that bot lane ahead, and DFM has not looked back since.
Those early adaptations from DFM, just so crisp. Welcome to the audio stream, Formal. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. Oh my gosh, that is disgusting.
Like
that replay,
the extra 1 gold for the call, 301 for the takedown. Unipon putting on a clinic on this Jinx, and I've sort of bemoaned it because Caitlyn can turn this champion off. There is always this chance, but it's becoming slimmer and slimmer as time goes on that this Jinx won't just take over the game.
Okay, hold on. When we came into this, you said you were the one who likes to go in, and I was going to be Captain Positive and say there's always a chance, but I feel like that chance is gone. We sort of swapped roles here because I feel like DFM, there's no reason why they should lose this game at this stage. They have been playing far too intelligently. Their positioning has been on point. That team fight that they had before was a little bit rough, but that's because they didn't expect Sengoku to fully commit on them, and who actually would? It was such a reckless fight, and even when Sengoku got the jump, DFM still came out on top. So as long as Unipon stays safe...
It goes even worse. DFM overextended on the return, and they still won out. I'm just I'm sort of allowing that possibility to come through, because we haven't seen much of Paz just yet. We haven't seen if Sengoku can put all their chips on the table. Maybe something around this Baron could be possible. It is less and less of a possibility by the minute, Formal. You're right. Normally I'm bad cop. Today, I just don't want DFM to steal something from us.
I mean, look, they've already had one dragon stolen away from them. So, again, once has his highlight play, that's all well and good. I kind of feel like that's all you're going to get, though. DFM, they're just so good in this position right now. And while I appreciate, that the fact that Sengoku probably is the #2 team coming into this, that if anyone can beat DFM, it's got to be them. But I think this game is just further testament to how far and away DFM has been playing so far throughout the split on top of everybody. I mean, it just doesn't seem like there's a weakness on the side that even when you see them crack a little bit, they quickly just pave and smooth it back over, and it's like nothing was wrong to begin with. And for Sengoku, unfortunately, they're going to come up short in this one. I still want to see a series between these two teams. I think that maybe we'll get to see a little bit more, but even going all the way back to the Champ Select, I wanted to see a bit more aggression come from Sengoku. I wanted to see them take a few more risks. I think gameplay-wise they were doing that, but maybe the composition isn't exactly what you want. I don't know. I don't want to harp on this Lux pick being the off one, but it was the one that caught me off guard as being not quite what I wanted to see from NT. And if you take a look at the scoreline, I know that's bad analysis, but so far I kind of feel a little justified in it.
I get why you would want the Caitlyn Lux, right? That's the most lane dominant. It's second to nearly none. It should beat everything in lane. The lane being broken should have been less of a surprise here for Sengoku, as this position doesn't look great.
Oh, once that's a good kick. That's who they want. Unicorn is gone. This is the fight that Sengoku was looking for, but can they seal the deal? Because you still got to deal with Yaharong, who's throwing out those cards, but the DPS just is not there. Once a fantastic play may have just brought Sengoku back in because they're looking at Baron.
Can I tell the future or what, Formal? That absolutely massive pick takes out Udapon, the main target here. You can't target Ebby in the neutral.
Done.
It's not done. The approach is pretty tough. Paz is holding the corner, most importantly.
It's caught onto Jet, and as we take a look at the dredge line, doesn't make contact. Once again, once jumps to the back line, but has to go to Jet for safety. Ebby, deep in the pit, found Honey, who is left alone, and that's the Caitlyn gone. Enti low as well, but they did lose Ebby in the process. Still looking for the play. Dredge line right into Jet in the front line. Super Mega Death Rocket's going to get a kill, but the Baron was already secured once now. Going to try to lead the escape. In the end, they actually find another on the way out. Paz once and Jet all with the Baron buff.
All with the Baron buff. The members of Sengoku pull it back from nowhere. I don't know, Formal. This was just an absolute clinic on how to play from behind. They get the pick onto the richest member. The key damage carry. Ebby is really secondary, and Yaharong is dealing no damage right now in an extended fight. We're going to kick it to the replay. Just watch how Once approaches this fight. It's beautiful. Harp, they're holding the vision out on the left side. Sengoku holding this corner. This is super risky. Onslaught of Shadows here would likely mean doom as soon as it comes through. But Once doesn't wait for that. The flash, Chinese-style buffered insect, absolutely mashes Yaharong before he can even push flash to chain. He had flash up the whole time. It's really hard to do it. That insect comes through way faster. And on the approach here into River, look at this corner. They have to commit everything to Honey at maximum range. Ebby has to blow everything. Sengoku don't even try and turn it back around. They take away Paz as he's they take away Ebby as he's damaged by the Baron, as that was already happening. The Lux ultimate for more damage. Once gets the smite, and while multiple members of Sengoku fall, that blob is able to come together.
I was looking down here. Fight. Yeah, Ebby just got a solo kill on the Honey right before jumping to this clop, and now they want revenge. But look at the turnaround from DFM. Super Mega Death Rocket from downtown gets the kill onto Paz. All right, Dredgeline again makes contact, this time onto Jet, who I don't see getting out of this one alive. They'll give the kill back to Udapon, and Sengoku, that last fight may have given them hope, but continuing to fight without Honey, I'm not sure about that one, Sengoku. They pay the price.
Bit too much. Bit too much. Just because you got the Baron buff, it doesn't mean there isn't still a 6,000 gold lead. That Jinx still massively rich. Even with the Baron buff, it's bought more time here for Sengoku, but they still have to repeat this pick backwards. That Jinx still present just by killing her. You haven't taken away her massive advantage. We're going to go to that replay. Paz and Ebby just walking in. Ebby starts up the fight. I didn't quite see this because of the replay for the Baron. So in the extension, Ebby gets engaged onto, but it's not really enough. Oh, that hook onto Jet, absolutely brutal. Not able to reach Ebby, not able to DPS Yaharong. Paz will go down to the Super Mega Death Rocket. That position not tenable for Sengoku. You can't reach Yutapon. He's very well defended by Yaharong and
Teleport in the back line. Keep your eyes on that as well as the front lines do. Once again, smash, and already once is gone. That's the last Baron buff gone. That's the Dragon secured. Super Mega Death Rocket makes some contact with Honey. A flank play out of Jet. I think it's too little too late. Sengoku can't find a way to re-engage, and now Jet stuck in the pit, trying to buy some time. Yaharong stays safe and helps Yutapon get the kill over the wall. We go. Onslaught of Shadows shuts down the back line, and now it is Paz versus the world. Even Red Buff is starting to pile on, helping DFM. Nowhere for Paz to go. He'll be taken out. Top towers falling, and DFM are running away with this game.
A little bit of false confidence from Sengoku. Just because you take one fight off the back of a massive insect, it does not mean you are even again in straight fights, 2 in a row. Sengoku try and take it to DFM on a more normal front, and they pay the price twice.
Oh my goodness. This game, these fights have just been happening with like a flip of the switch, and then all of a sudden it is just go, go, go. And to be fair, DFM, a lot of their games aren't quite like this. Normally they're very methodical. They pick the fights they want, and they sort of evade their opponents until they find those situations. But in this game, because Sengoku's willingness to just throw themselves constantly at DFM, DFM's like, okay, sure, we'll fight when you want, because we know we have the money advantage. We know we have the mechanical advantages as well at times. And yeah, it's just been a clinic as we watch this replay again.
It's really tough. We did see masterful work from Once, and NT able to get Jet's flank tenable by drawing DFM back towards the dragon. They took a moment to wait for their teammates to arrive, and instead they get Jet in, but it's not enough. They can't get Honey into the river, most importantly. They can't get him into a stable position to auto-attack, which is where this version of Caitlyn's damage comes from. And with that, a single reset for Yutapon, a bit of a broken flank, a broken pincer movement, and DFM are just able to play it forwards, take it from there, and once again take down Sengoku.
If I were to make one complaint about that play, it would be the fact that Paz kind of hit the red buff with the Gnar at the end right there, and the red buff was stunned when the killing blow came through. I would have loved it if red buff had been the one to secure the kill. I think desperately needs the gold in situations like this to keep up with the rest of DFM. I digress, though. Once, actually, I don't think you want any part of Steel, buddy. Just going to go ahead and let the pony trot on through.
His flank is maintained. This could be Sengoku just trying something deep. The Guardian Angel
I think
is
they
on.
Sense it. I think they sense it. Here it comes. Once. No. Not quite there. And now Once has to get out of this one. But with the Destiny, the gold card actually cutting off the backline because Yutapon has the damage for Once. It's kind of over. I love it. They just ignore. They just ignore Enti as he goes golden. Yeah, we'll just wait for you to come back. I have farm to collect. This is not a good time to be a Sengoku fan.
It really isn't. It really hurts. That was the difference between the new LPL style insect and the classic. The classic, you W, you flash. This time, earlier on, we saw Flash W, which is much quicker. You can't really flash in response. The game is ending, by the way.
Yeah, no, this is it. Like, Onslaught of Shadows kind of gets that back line disrupted. Yeah. That will give enough time for the towers. Look, this was a clinic.
Engage just means they've still got all the buttons.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to make sure your keyboard still works, right? Like, you got to push the button, see everything's good. But now DFM should be finishing this game right here, continuing their undefeated streak as we got one last fight. Gnar gets 3. They actually get a kill onto Steel. A little bit of a consolation prize. One sidesteps the Super Mega Death Rocket, and I'm not sure DFM can end here, actually. Sengoku, with that pick, live to fight another day.
Just enough for a few more minutes here from Sengoku. They could go for another legendary engage. As we go back to the replay here, this is the extended flank. This is what Once was going for. Steel just does not check the bush. And while it is a risk for DFM, as we can see, it maybe doesn't work out the best. Yutapon will be spotted out by this blue ward. That is a signal for Once. As you see, the full extension not possible, and even though it was attempted, a little bit of disconnection. Once completely out in no man's land if that doesn't work. Jet, oh sorry, NT also struggling a little, just kept in range as he's farmed for another reset to let Yutapon fly forwards on this Jinx. 15-1-3 full build. It is a performance from Yutapon.
Once's flank play can only work once, as it turns out, at the end of the day. And look, again, Once has been the highlight of this Sengoku team, though. And you got to give credit to Once. I mean, they're definitely been making this Lee Sin pick work in terms of the playmaking capabilities, but I feel like that's also...
It's a huge improvement, actually, because last time they faced DFM, the only reason I think Sengoku had such a poor performance was Once looked completely absent against Steel's Poppy. Didn't even go for the standard cross maps you see in that matchup. Was just completely 0-0-0 by 20 minutes, and it was over. This is an improvement that things are happening for them.
Okay, well, now they're actually going to turn their attention to Barrett, and let's see if one's going to make a little bit magic happen again. Keep your eyes on Utapon. That is all the damage. Onslaught of Shadows just got all 5, and now here comes DFM barreling on through. I don't think the rest of the team was quite ready for that, as Harp goes right to the front line. Ebby going to the flank and is able to get the flash out of NT. Meanwhile, back in the front line, Jet goes down, as well as the rest of the Sengoku tank line. That allows Honey to be left isolated. Super Mega Death Rocket does not secure the kill, but gets Honey low enough that Ebby should be able to run him down. It's actually the gold card that secures it. Once is the one left standing, but now with 5 members strong, DFM are barreling into the base, looking to go 9-0, and I don't think Once is going to stop them here, not even waiting for the minions. Down goes the second Nexus Tower. Once is actually spotted by Steel as well, and DFM get the win.
A commanding performance from our first place seed. Their greatest challenge in Sengoku, broken early in the lane, adapted from DFM, that smart pathing, that amazing pick in the 2v2, just enough. And while there was one blip, Sengoku not finding the mark here.
And I feel half right about my initial prediction in this game, that this game is going to come down to NT and how they perform, and if they can get that vision game and really look to shut down Steel before the game gets rolling. But that didn't happen.
They took over the lane formal, but again, it didn't happen. Steel was there first.
Steel was there first, and I stand by the decision that won this game with Steel expecting that his top side was sort of had vision against them, needing to mix up his jungle clear, skipping over blue buff, going straight to bot lane, 2 kills, and that's when the snowball started to roll, and it just never stopped after that.
We're going to go over it more when we kick it back to the desk. We'll say hi to J-Real in just a few minutes. Grab a break. You can hear us again now, so don't worry. This next minute or so of audio silence, just a moment to recover. Before we go to game 2, Mia and Formal will be right back. So go catch that break. We'll see you in a moment.
Hello and welcome back to the stream, and we're going to break down the first game, and well, DFM doing DFM things, picking up another win, and I guess let's start where it all began or all ended for some very early game formal breakdown. What happened?
All right. Yeah, go to the jungler because of the pathing. Look, at the start of the game, it was a case where we saw DFM go for the invade, and I called it out right away. Okay, normally when you invade and you don't see someone, you kind of expect a counter invade to be happening on that other side. As a result, we saw a little bit of a different path coming from the DFM jungle right there. They didn't go for the full clear. They didn't even go for a double buff clear. They wound up only taking 3 camps before providing pressure on the bot side. Now, that ward was placed as well, and you saw the team starting to react around it. But and they were pinging exactly where the Hecarim was, yet they were expecting that blue buff take, and as a result, the bot lane, I think they were about 10 seconds away from playing a bit more passive. They were banking around that blue buff take. They stay a little bit too far forward. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. All of a sudden, there's a horse trotting in your face, 2 kills for the bot lane, and we know what Unipon can do with 2 kills early. Granted, they only got one. One went to over on the Hecarim onto steal as well, so like that's the best of both worlds in a way, and from that point, we just saw DFM run away with the game.
You're spot on, and it's like even worse. You saw the fear in Honey's eyes as soon as the Nautilus moved up past the minion wave. They were like, "Oh, we know Hecarim's coming. He's not meant to be here yet. I'll flash." And you see NT flash, and just Honey ate the hook, and it was.
And then it got worse, right? Because then when we saw one chance that we could have had for Sengoku to make that comeback, it was the difference between one caster minion, right? That Dragon Rage kick catching one on the counterplay from Woods. I mean, imagine how different that game looks if Once is able to complete that play.
DFM are the main characters.
It's definitely one to ponder. Obviously, hindsight is 2020. You can't really look back and wish that it went another way. Sengoku, though, I feel like they played better in this game than versus day 2. Because it felt like they actually had a bit of bite back, you know? There was that moment around that 22 minutes when they did pick up Baron. They did start to win some team fights. And it was like, okay, like, maybe you're not out of this just yet.
Yeah, Once looked really rough in these teams' first meeting. I sort of mentioned it there as we were going through that last Baron. Like, it was 0-0-0, DFM shut him out the game, they got some winning lanes, and they pushed it forwards. This time, even though the bot lane was broken, Once was present in the game, Ebby wasn't completely put out till much later, so the Gnar pick clearly worked as they wanted it. DFM weren't able to attack that angle. It's just a shame that the winning bot lane that was meant to be paired with it was made so vulnerable so early in the game.
I feel like that game was also a little bit of an example of like even a blind man with a shotgun is going to hit every now and then because like that was the approach though. We saw the desperation come from Once on that Lee Sin quite early in the game, and some amazing plays were made, and that's the sort of fight back we were talking about. But at that same token, we saw those desperate plays happening from like the 8-10 minute mark, and Sengoku was just throwing everything at the wall, and some stuff did stick, but it was never enough to realistically turn the game back around.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was not DFM just having the control. And we talked a bit about Honey. I feel like we really should be talking about Utapon because you know what? He came through, he carried. I feel like I put a lot of emphasis on Evie in the pre-game, but it was all bot lane for DFM.
It really was. Those 2 early kills, oh boy. That's everything a Jinx could want and more. The solo bolo, the absolute 1v1 takedown in the mid lane as well. Utapon just completely took Honey out this game. There were moments, there were shining moments, like when Once finally got that insec onto Utapon in mid, Honey was in the correct position, but we often saw the Caitlyn not enabled by the teammates. So I don't want to rag on Honey too much, but multiple times, the problem with Caitlyn Lux is you need your jungler or top laner with you to approach a fight safely or get out into the river from your own jungle off a ramp. And Honey, time and time, was slightly betrayed by his team being like, yeah, let's go. And he's like, I can't go here just yet. I'm just going to get Nautilus ulted. And it's
That right there, though, because yes, Utapon was amazing, but let's also talk about Harp as well, because even going back to the first place, the flash over the Luminous binding to get the dredge line to hook, not on the Lux, but on the Honey instead, was realistically, again, what enabled everything. And there were plays like that happening all game long, and I feel like we didn't call enough attention to that, because I also think back to the roam that we saw as well in that early game, matching not one, but both of the Sengoku Gaming bot lane to have an impact in the mid lane while leaving Utapon alone just to farm and still turning fights around. I mean, that was an amazing game that we just saw out of pretty much, again, the entirety of DFM. And it's a little bit unfortunate because it's like, who do you highlight as a star player? Who realistically carried this team? Because you can make an argument for every single one of them.
We'll definitely go to Harp on that this game. We often sort of leave him by the wayside because the way that DFM plays with all 5 members often means the support is kind of left out in one of the other 4 people getting a huge carry performance. I think Harp's having a great split so far, and it's looking better and better every game.
Yeah, Harp mechanically was just on point this game, and I know it might be a little bit painful for people to watch back and not be able to listen to our beautiful voices until the second half, but do go back and watch the VOD and just watch Harp's mechanics throughout the first half of this game and see how it enabled everybody else. I think there's a legitimate argument that Harp would kind of be my MVP pick for this opening game.
Yeah, it was pretty sad that obviously we didn't get the audio in the first half because it was an amazing cast. I can tell you guys here, I heard it all firsthand and it was really good. But
it was a private showing just for you.
We have the audio fixed up now, so it's all good. And I have to say, both teams picked up the arcane buff, but DFM were the ones with the real magic, picking up the win for the first game of the day. But we're going to throw it to a break. Coming up next is Game 2, Rascal Jesters taking on Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks.